Yes, I can't believe I'm up. Yes, y'all. It's that Kids and Wives and 9 to 5s, but we are married to the games. It's your boy, Gabe Patillo, with you as always with Tim Router and Timothy Hall, 036. Thank you guys for being here. We are talking about life and games and life. And obviously, we had the big announcement yesterday from Microsoft about the Xbox. But before we go there, we're going to catch up with our boys. I'm starting with Timothy Hall. How was your weekend?
It's been a while since I've started.
I know.
The beauty of podcasting, we can do the podcast at like 7 a.m. and no one is the wiser.
You're welcome, gentlemen.
except for the fact that Gabe sounds like he's about to just explode. Yeah.
I'm so tired.
This weekend was cleanup. I went through and finished XCOM.
Look at you.
Yeah,
wow.
I was on the... That's the thing is, I always get so far in a game and then something new comes out and it's like, I got to play that.
Yeah. You were trying to be a responsible gamer this weekend.
Yeah, that would drive me nuts. I'd have to complete the game first and then go on to it.
Oh, it sucks because you go back into the game and you're like, oh, how do I play this game?
Yeah, exactly. What are the buttons again?
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, I finished that one up. The sad thing was that I only had like one mission left and I didn't realize it. So one or two. Yeah, that game is so good. If you can get that game, get it. It's so good.
Waiting for iOS.
Yeah, when's it coming out to iOS? Is it coming soon?
I don't know. You know, it's funny. I just looked 2 days ago, and I think it still says in the summer. So
wait,
I haven't seen it.
End of summer or in the summer?
In the summer. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I needed to come on out because I really do want to get it.
Yeah, I want to play it too.
Yeah, that's going to be an awesome iPad game. I totally recommend it. So,
Sweet.
Let's see.
Did you finish Tomb Raider?
Oh, I finished Tomb Raider a long time ago.
Oh, why did I think you had that laying around too as well?
It was BioShock. I think you're thinking of.
Yeah, I finished BioShock as well. I'm actually looking for something to start, so I think I may. Hitman? What? No. PS Plus.
Start it.
PS Plus free in a few months. I'll play it then.
Sleeping Dogs. Play Sleeping Dogs.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to play next.
Oh,
probably.
Yes. Good man.
Well, just so I can join the party.
That's right.
Or you can try Remember Me. That's coming out like next week. You can get it on Redbox, I bet.
Oh yeah.
Man, there's so much good stuff.
That game does look interesting. Continue, Hall. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of.
Oh, how was the rest of the conference last week? The Nashville.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. The attendance was a little small. I went around and just basically talked to vendors a lot, but that's how I got that information from Yamaha. So that was pretty cool.
Sweet.
Yeah. Other than that, gosh, I've been really busy at work, so I haven't really been playing as much. That's why this weekend I was like, forget this. I'm just going to go close a few books here. And XCOM was just sitting there staring at me like, why won't you kill me? You know, he was really upset that I hadn't played him in a long time. So
Mr. Calm beckons.
He was like, psst, Hall, psst, over here. We got some unfinished business, me and you.
There you go. That was perfect.
That's good.
Every time I don't finish a game, I'm going to hear Gabe's voice in my head.
Yeah. Get over here for a minute. I want to talk to you about something. We started this thing, me and you. It needs to come to a close.
Gabe, that's good for nice and early in the morning. Well done.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds good. And Gabe, you sound like you're ready to go. So...
Good, Hall. So you finished XCOM, and your week's been good.
Yeah, and I got really far on Blood Dragon, so I need to put I need to close the book on that too.
There you go. I like it. Tim Router.
Yes, sir.
You're up in the great Northeast.
I am in the Great Northeast, this past week, Lauren has the annual National Stationery Show in New York City. So it's kind of bittersweet because this is the last time we will be staying at her house in New Jersey because her parents are they are moving the end of this month or early June, and they are moving down to Franklin. And they're building a house, and they're super excited. They're basically retiring, and they're gonna hang out with us down there. So yeah, it's kind of weird because they're packing up the house. They had a building inspector come yesterday, and Lauren's lived in this house since she was 5. So
wow.
Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet, but it's great. It's exciting. So she's been doing the whole stationery show thing. I've been hanging out with Piper back at the house and working and going into the city and hanging out with our friends in Brooklyn. And man, New York's great. I love it. It's such a great city. And so we're just, I'm just working and doing a thing. Can't play any games because I don't have a PS3 with me, so it's kind of driving me a little nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why you need a Vita.
That's very true. and I may still consider that. By the way, once the PS4 comes out, I may be thinking about a Vita. We'll see. But so I've been Candy Crushing as usual, and
are you getting any further?
No.
Where are you?
No.
What level are you on?
I'm still at level. Is it 20? I can't be just.
Get out of here.
I can't just be at 20. Well, dude, I'm still trying to get 3 stars on everything. But Lauren found what she thought is a loophole in the whole thing. Instead of when you're trying to complete a level and then you run out of I guess lives you want to call it, and then you have to ask friends. She purchased more turns, and the next time she played it, she finished it and got it done and went on to the next level. So she thinks there's this great you have to purchase conspiracy thing. I tried it, and of course it didn't work for me. So I don't know what's going on. I've been stuck on this level, but it's a good game when you're still stuck at the level, but you're still enjoying it, and you're just trying to figure out, okay, how can I really get this going? So it's just such a fun game. I can't put it down.
There you go.
So yeah, we're having a good time with that. I'm still plowing through Borderlands 2, and before I left, I was able to get some time in, and just still loving that game, and still encouraging you, Gabe, to play that game. I will let you borrow 2, or you can start 1 again. But
I know I need to do something.
But it's so much fun. It's clever, and there's such a ton of guns. It's unbelievable. But they did such a great job, and I think, what did I hear last week, that 2K said that Borderlands 2 is their most successful game.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I think I heard that last week. So yeah, it's there, and it's rocking it. So I don't know what I'm gonna play next though, because I think I'm getting close to the end, but I don't know. We'll get back to that later. So that's been going on here at the Router household, just hanging out in New York City and loving it.
Sweet.
Borderlands 2, are you gonna wait on a price drop on DLC, or?
I don't know if I'll play it. I'm not a huge DLC person, but I may try 1 or 2 of them.
The DLC on Borderlands is actually not that bad. It kind of extends the story, and you also get, to level up some more. With the last one, Borderlands 1, I actually did play through all the DLC because it was fun. So
that's cool.
Like I said, it doesn't necessarily add any like real canon to the story. It's just kind of a side story type thing.
And anything that lets me level up is fine by me. That's why I'm, like I said last episode, I'm doing as many side missions as I can, and then like once those are pretty much done, then I get back into the main mission. I just love it. I think it's just fun to do. There's like 1 or 2 missions that are like the time sensitive missions, and like I just can't get to it, so I've been skipping those, and I'll come back to them when I'm finished the whole main story. But it's fun. It's a great game.
There you go. Sweet.
What about you, Patilio?
Like Man, it's been good. I was home this weekend, I think.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I was home this weekend, so it was nice to be at home after we've been traveling so much over these last 7 months. Just been chilling out, man. Dove back in on the PlayStation a little bit because it was on the bus last week. And also I lost the dongle the USB stick portion of my Pulse Elite headset.
Oh no.
And so
crap.
that sucked because they don't work and they don't sell those by themselves. So what I did was I went on Craigslist and I found a guy who was selling his for stupid cheap.
Sweet.
And really, I'm just using the dongle from his and my headset.
Right.
So it's kind of a waste of money, but it's that important. It's become that important of a thing to me because it's so convenient to be able to have great sound and not disturb anybody.
That's awesome.
So that's been cool.
I've got to get a pair of those.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Are those going to work with the PS4? Have they?
Yeah, I would imagine because it's not limited to just the PlayStation. Like it works with your laptops as well.
It's any USB port, right?
Yeah, and so I can't imagine them not having it work. It seems like it would work day one kind of thing. Like it's not like they have to try to have it work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So here's my question: Did you cut off BioShock? Because I knew you weren't feeling it last week, or are you still going through?
There's nothing about that game that makes me want to start playing it.
Wow.
I don't know why. Like I went upstairs yesterday or 2 days ago. I was like, all right, here we go. Get some gaming in. The wife's doing something. The baby's asleep. BioShock. And I was like, nah, don't feel like it. And then I know, I'm sorry. And then I turned on the PlayStation, and up in the news feed, it was like, Dust, 514,
Yeah.
free. And I was like, all right, I'll try that. To no avail, since I don't think their servers are ready. And so there's like this extra gigabyte of stuff you got to download, and it never did it. It was like kept disconnecting from the server, and it was awful. So it didn't play any of that. So what did I end up playing? My default is always like Burnout Crash, which is like a top down. I think it's on iOS actually too.
Yeah.
Where you just crash cars, and it's actually really fun. And then I started Spec Ops: The Line.
Oh, good man.
Just because I remember you saying you liked it. I had it sitting there for free. And so I was like, I'll do that. And so I kind of jumped around games. I played a little Prince of Persia that Jordan Thompson gave us. Did a little Spec Ops: The Line. Did a little Mega Man 9.
Wow.
So I was kind of all over the place.
Yeah, you were. Good for you, though, man. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so that was fun, kind of jumping around. And then today is a weird day because I'm joining Tim Router in the great Northeast, flying up to New York tonight. Well, I should say today. And then we're going to be on a show called The View on Friday.
Oh, never heard of it.
If you haven't seen The View or heard of The View, it's something else.
Yes, it is.
It's not for men.
No,
it's for women.
Okay, I thought you were joking. You're really going to be on The View?
Yeah, I'm gonna be. We're singing a song.
Oh, okay.
Toby's gonna.
I thought you were going to be like talking with everybody. I was going to be.
Are
like,
you
what?
crazy? No way. Oh.
They'd be like, wow, so today we have Darius Rucker on the show.
Nice call. That was good. That's
the only way I'm getting on that show is a mistaken identity.
That is amazing.
That's so funny. For those that don't know, I've been mistaken for Darius Rucker like a million times because of where I live and how my facial hair grows and my skin is brown.
Yeah.
That's the only similarities we have.
Yes.
He's literally like 15 years my elder.
Yes.
Which I don't know if that's good for me. I mean, good for him or bad for me, but whatever. Anyway, so tell your wives that on Friday, Toby Mac and the boys will be on The View. So it's usually the last thing on the show. I wouldn't ask you to watch the whole show, but if you want to check out what we do,
we'll just DVR that thing and boop, 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 just keep going.
They're going to be like, wow, this is the best episode we've ever had. The ratings were just so high.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
For the end.
Well, that's
so,
awesome.
Yeah, that's all we got going on, man.
Well, and
It's
congrats
crazy.
to Toby for winning the Billboard Music Award, by the way. That was
thanks
really stinking cool.
Thanks for tweeting that. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
It happens.
I didn't go and look at the untelevised one. So yeah, man, we appreciate it.
I don't know why they do the Billboard Music Awards, because it's like, we know because
there's no excitement.
There's no excitement because we already know who's going to pretty much win it, or, get the award, because the Billboard charts come out every week. So I think we kind of know who's on top. So
seriously.
But no, that was very, very cool. I'm glad he got that.
Yeah, man. All right. Router.
We got it.
Do it to it.
I'm on it. All right. So new releases this week. I've got 3. Fast and Furious Showdown. That's cross console for 3DS, PS3, Wii U, and Xbox 360.
Is that like the game?
Yes.
I mean, from the movie?
Yes, I believe so. Hall, you're going to love this one. Resident Evil Revelations. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, boy.
Wii U, PS3, Xbox, and PC.
So and that wasn't that a 3DS game first? I think it was. And I just remember, like the only reason I remember that game is because when they first released it, they misspelled the name.
What?
So on the cartridge, or not on the cartridge, on the box art, it said like Tions, like it was, or Toins, it was spelled wrong or something. The end of it was spelled wrong. I just remember, and that looked stupid.
Yeah, that would. I would probably pick that up and be like, "Yeah, okay, somebody missed that in the art department. Put it back on the shelf."
How does that get through? That's funny.
Wow. And then there's one for PSN and Xbox Live Arcade and PC. Call of Juarez, Gunslinger.
Yep.
That comes out this week too. So those are the 3 new releases, and then here we go for top-selling games for the week ending May 11th. Number 1. Luigi. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't. Oh my gosh. I was about to have to ghost dad you.
Okay, but let me tell you this. I don't know what's going on, but console games better get their act together, because there are 2 3DS games that are schooling everybody right now. Number 1, Lego City Undercover.
Well, those are Lego games are good.
Oh, yeah. And number 2, Luigi's Mansion.
What?
Stays in the top. Stays up there.
That Joker boy.
Did another 35,000 units. Number 3, Dead Island Riptide for Xbox 360. Number 4, Injustice, Gods Among Us for Xbox 360. Oh, gee, number 5. Here's a shocker. Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Xbox 360. 26 weeks. 26 weeks on the charts. 6.851 million units sold.
Gosh, since when? How many weeks has it been?
26 weeks on the charts. Well, that's been
that long.
Since November, because isn't that when it came out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Number 6, NBA 2K13 for Xbox. Number 7, Halo 4 for Xbox. Number 8, Dead Island Riptide for PS3. Number 9, Kinect Adventures for Xbox 360. And number 10, New Super Mario Brothers 2 for the 3DS.
Kinect Adventures should not even be allowed to be on there, because the only reason it sells is because the Kinect and the Xbox with Kinect sells.
It's bundled. Isn't it bundled?
It's bundled.
132 weeks on the charts, 12.5 million units sold. It did another 13,000 this week. That thing is a beast, man. That's longevity for you. But then again, it's bundled, so it's going to stick around.
That's like people being like, "Oh, you know what's a crazy selling game is that Super Mario Brothers."
Exactly. Duck Hunt.
Be like, well, every time somebody bought a Nintendo,
exactly.
Duck Hunt is the best selling game of all time.
Yes. I love that.
That's funny.
So there you have it. New releases and charts for the week.
Sweet. So everybody knows what we're going to be talking about today.
All right, that's it. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Obviously, the big Xbox reveal was for us yesterday. By the time you're hearing this, it's probably 2 days ago. And a lot of mixed reviews. I've seen a couple things. People loved it. People hate it. Of course, that's the way it's going to be. You're going to have your fanboys that just don't give up. You know, we've talked about it before. It's kind of the whole Democrat Republican thing, and sometimes you're just not going to be swayed. and we saw some really interesting things. I didn't know how you guys wanted to do this, but I thought we could run down some stuff, and I would just ask you what you thought about it.
Sure. Do we want to hit the specs first? I've got them handy if you need them.
We can get to the specs.
Okay.
But I want to start with what they started with.
No.
And that was the name.
Yes.
One of the very first things they said was, ladies and gentlemen, the Xbox One. So, Hall, what do you think of that name?
It made me think of PS1.
Did it really?
Yeah, immediately.
So you
Sure.
kind of retrograded back to first generation.
That, and it made me think about how confusing it's going to be for all those sites that have like databases with the original.
Mm.
Yeah, because
Yeah, but nobody calls the first one the Xbox One, do they? They just call it the Xbox, right?
yeah,
I still see why you're saying it's confusing.
yeah,
but
it is. Well, it's still confusing because even though they'll call that first one Xbox, there's a lot of people that call the 360 just Xbox.
yeah,
You know
that's
what I
true.
mean?
Yeah, of course.
That's
yeah.
true, actually.
So it's probably not a big deal, and it's probably not confusing. And of course, their marketing department knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, did you watch it live?
No, I was at work. I was
Gabe-
just watching the live blog.
Okay, Gabe, did you watch it on Game Trailers or anything?
I watched it on Spike TV.
On Spike TV. Okay, yeah, I watched
because
it on
it was
Game Trailers.
it was ahead of the live stream online. So
Oh, yeah, 'cause
by like 5 or 6 seconds. So.
I watched the live stream.
5 or 6 seconds.
Yeah,
That's funny. So Gabe's jumping up and down, and then the next person's like, "What? What's going on?" 5 or 6 seconds later, whoa!
exactly. I got to be the spoiler for everybody. It made it look like our live tweeting was like really on top of things.
That's right. Even before they said it.
Exactly. They're like, "How did Gabe know?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm here."
That's awesome.
I stick by my my thoughts that they should have just gone Xbox 4. Because I think it is a little confusing. Xbox One, PlayStation 4, like it may it's not necessarily confusing to people who play games, but it's probably confusing to adults who have to buy a system for their kids.
I cannot wait to hear that mom and that GameStop employee just going around and around in circles come Christmas time.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we're here to get is it the first Xbox? It's like, no, I think that you're wanting the Xbox One. Right, that's what I said, the first one, right? Like, well, actually, it's not the first one. It's the one after the 360, but it's the one. You're like, right. Which one do I want to get?
Oh,
The
gosh.
Xbox One. Okay, which one? Not the original one, but the Xbox One. You know what? Let me get the PlayStation 4
There you go.
that's just way more.
That's
That
awesome.
makes sense to me.
GameStop is going to sell a ton of first generation Xboxes.
Yes, they will.
Oh man. Okay, so Router, thoughts about the name?
I kind of was really hoping for the 720. I thought that would have been a little bit more clever.
Yeah.
Or Xbox Infinite, or something related to something of that nature.
Well, I'm kind of glad they didn't do Infinity, because then where would they go from there?
Right.
Yeah.
Infinity Plus, maybe.
Yeah, Infinity plus one.
Infinity and beyond.
And beyond, yes.
Buzz Lightyear standing on top of it.
Exactly. That'd be amazing. When I saw it and when they revealed it, I'm like, okay, Xbox One. When they started talking about how it's an all-in-one unit and they're just trying to basically compress all of your media into this one box, I'm like, I get it. I just don't like the name. I just think it's kind of silly.
Yeah. I tweeted at the time, I was like, Xbox One, it seems a little backwards, kind of like Hall is saying, especially with the whole reason why they named the 360 the 360. I thought partially the reason had to have been because it was the PlayStation 3 was coming out. They didn't want to be like the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 2.
Yep.
And so, with them calling it Xbox One, but obviously they make a strong case for it. Why it's gonna, this gonna be the center of your entertainment system. That's all you're gonna need, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
so
I'm
kind of.
I get that. I get it. It's just I think they went like this kind of corporate structure of, hey, Xbox One, it's an all-in-one. They should have just called it Xbox Synergy at this point. It just seems kind of very corporate and not like
but
gamer.
it's simple.
Yeah, it is.
you know, which is
Is
always
anybody
good.
else still seeing green after watching everything, by the way? Like, I had like phases of green in my head just because everything, the backdrop, everything was just green everywhere.
Yeah, it's
Hey, that's why
brilliant.
I
It's
watched the
brilliant like
live blog. I didn't have to see any of that.
Yeah. Well, you're a better man for it. My eyes are blurry.
I was gonna say the whole one designation about the one box that does it all kind of thing. PS3 was wasn't that pretty much their campaign with the PS3 that it was like the one device.
that it does
Yeah.
everything. No, everything was the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and
One console to rule
it's
them
so
all.
funny that like PS3 got a lot of backlash for that because people were like, I just want something that plays games, blah, blah, blah. And then the Xbox does it, and everybody's like, oh, shoot. Oh, crap. Yeah, I really want the Xbox because it does everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
It's really
It's
silly.
interesting. Okay, Router, hit up the specs. You have 'em?
Okay, so it's got 8 gig core CPU, 8 gigs of system memory. It will have a 500 gigabyte hard drive with a Blu-ray, so that's nice that they finally included a Blu-ray.
You know what's funny is that I felt like they said that like number one, people didn't know, and number two, like it was new.
Right.
Blu-ray player. I was like, what? That was kind of like when Apple came out with Siri, and all my little freaking pretentious Apple friends were like, look, I can talk to it, and it blah, 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 blah. I was like, I've been doing that with Google Voice for like 3 years now, y'all. Appreciate you. I know, but Apple invented it.
That's right.
Anyway,
That crazy woman.
I'm not bitter.
No, it's all good. So it's got Kinect comes bundled with it. It has 802 wireless with Wi-Fi Direct, HDMI in and outs, and USB 3.0 ports. I think there's 4 or 3, either one. The system is voice activated. Users will be able to switch between media types with spoken commands. It can be controlled with gestures, and the whole grabbing and shrinking motion I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, those are pretty much the hardcore specs. Really, if you put it up to the PS4, everything seems very, very similar.
Yeah, it's just about the same, right?
Yeah.
I should have pulled the PS4 specs. But
Yeah, no, I was looking at some comparisons, and everything is pretty much right there. It will pretty much be same speed, same RAM.
The
needed.
only thing is that's interesting, especially when it comes to the RAM, is they said it at the conference that they're going to be running 3 operating systems all at once. And I think that's one of the things that Microsoft is good at doing is draining their own memory because of their OSs.
Right, they
know what I'm
allocate
saying?
they allocate the resources to the right places and use their memory to do so. So yeah,
So they need 8 gigs of RAM.
Oh, yes, they
because,
do.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be different than the Sony running 8 gigs of RAM because it's just one OS going, where
Yeah.
3 OSs can be a bit much at times.
and 4 gigs of that RAM will be like malware and trial versions of everything.
Oh no, you get the Xbox One and the first thing you see is WeatherBug. You're like, no.
Weather bug.
Or semantic antivirus software of some
That's
sort.
hilarious. Yeah, Norton.
Norton.
Hall, did you have something you want to talk about from the thing?
From that end, I was a little taken back when they said it's going to be running like, is it going to be running like its own version of Windows 8 or something?
That's what it looked like. It looked
Yeah.
like a version of Windows 8, especially, obviously the tiling thing that they've been doing for a while already kind of looks like Windows 8.
The interface is pretty slick. I like that.
I thought so too.
I mean, that could be pretty neat. I wonder if it adds any like cost. You know what? We really need to just see how much these devices are going to be.
Oh yeah.
I think each company is kind of holding it back until the other one announces it.
Well, it'll be E3. E3, they got to both announce what it is.
Everything's going to happen at E3.
Yeah. And
Yeah, it's not that hard to change numbers in a PowerPoint.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm interested though with how much more the Xbox. I wonder if it'll kill whatever console is more expensive. Because if you have 2 consoles coming out, unless they are the exact same price, it's going to be hard. And I know with the Xbox, you're like, yeah, but you get a Kinect with it, guys. But I don't know that that's the hugest selling point.
Yeah,
for everyone.
is that gonna sell people into it?
Yeah. The thing, well, and I may just be like one of those guys who plays games that's kind of just cynical, but to be honest with you, it's like I don't want to wave my hands or talk to my TV or any of that stuff. I just want to play games.
I do like that when you pick up the controller, it automatically puts you back to where your most recent game save was. I do like that. Like, it's apparently,
cool.
Even when it's off, like, you can still say Xbox on and it'll come on. So it's always still pseudo running, even when it's shut off. But I do like the idea that once you pick up your controller, it'll place you right back to where you were, whether you were playing a game, watching something, or what have you. So, I mean, that's pretty cool.
I just had an image in my head of you tell the Xbox to turn on, and it's like, I've recorded your last 5 arguments. Would you like to hear them? Because it's essentially always listening to you.
That's what they said. They said a main thing is going to be privacy, and I guess it already came out that Microsoft has been eavesdropping on people's Skype conversations. So,
wow,
yeah,
big.
So about that,
Big brother watching.
So, I'll say, okay, so also we have the name, we have the specs, and then obviously what Sony didn't provide us that Microsoft did was a look at the console. And obviously the very first thing that Twitter got blown up with is, oh, cool, Xbox One. The two things that were trending were Xbox One and VCR. Because they
good.
Twitter, all these kids, what's a VCR?
What's a VCR?
Exactly. And because it looks so much like a VCR, it is boxy. It's all get out. It is, to me, it is not sexy looking at all. It doesn't look next gen. It looks like prototype-ish still for me. I was hoping for something a little bit more sleek. And then on top of that, since the Kinect is coming with it and it's going to require Kinect, now you have this huge box, which I know they'll redo it and it'll be sexier in the future. But you automatically have these two things now that you have to have in your entertainment system or under your television, however that works. And I know a lot of kids' rooms, especially, I know mine was like this growing up. It wasn't really conducive to putting a Kinect under my TV or over my TV. I was good enough to have the console by the TV and on a desk somewhere. Hall, what did you think of the look of the console?
I actually liked it. I think it's more just PC set top box like. The Kinect coming with it, I guess, isn't so bad because the PlayStation 4 is also going to come with the Eye, isn't it? Like the big
that's so small.
version.
Oh, is it going to be big?
I don't think it's going to be as big as the Kinect, and I don't know if that bothers me as much because all of my TVs are on like fat stands. Like I think they started making. Well, actually, they didn't start making TV stands fatter, but basically, I think they make TV stands now to accommodate those kind of things.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because if you've got it mounted, I can completely understand. Like, where are you going to put it?
Right. So, exactly.
But if you have like a TV stand, it's not going to be a big issue. Like I usually put my controllers in front of my TV anyway. Like I just set them down on the stand. So having the Kinect there is not going to be such a big deal. And like I said, the look for me, like, I don't think it needs to look sexy or anything, but it looks fine to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's very simple. I appreciate that because I'm a very simple kind of person. But I'm with you, Gabe. I think the whole Kinect, because they did, and they said they completely redesigned and the entire Kinect system, but now it's bigger and bulkier, and it's like, where are you going to put that if I have a wall mount? Where, how is this going to work? And for me, I wouldn't use any of it anyway. Like and maybe it's me.
But you have to.
Right, that's the thing. So maybe it's me.
Which I wonder if they'll find a workaround. I can't imagine that you have to have the Kinect plugged in.
There's got to be something around it. But I mean, that will definitely limit you, I think, in some of your interface connections. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I haven't been doing this too long as far as gaming. But I'm kind of a traditionalist. I just want to pick up the controller, turn my my console on, my TV on, and it's right there, and I'm ready to go. I'm with you, Hall, too. I don't necessarily need voice commands. I don't need to say Xbox on or anything like that. I can just turn it on and be totally fine with it.
And I just don't think swiping is that much faster than the controller. The controller still seems faster to me.
I agree.
Well, I have the Kinect, and I've tried it for like interface things because it's hooked up. If you have your Kinect hooked up, it begs you to use it. You just wave your hand, and it wants you to start, or like you can start navigating the menu or
it's
whatever.
Like the kid in the back of the class. Ooh, pick me! Ooh, pick me!
But yeah, like it's not any faster than using the controller, at least for me. And Nintendo with the NES perfected the way that people wanted to play games, sitting in front of their TV with a controller, and it was fine. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to say the NES did that because many consoles did that before.
I know I was about to ask you why you gave props to the Nintendo about that.
I meant to say that Nintendo like perfected the controller, like they gave us the the D-pad with the buttons, the horizontal controller.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've been playing games the same exact way for so many years, and I don't really need the Kinect. Like it doesn't, even like talking about the PlayStation, like the Eye, the Move, all that stuff. I don't know. I don't really have any desire to play like that.
And I don't think you are alone in this because you've been playing the way your playing style is not going to change probably from day one because you're just used to it. You've been doing it for so long. Why reinvent the wheel? Why change everything? Just keep doing what you're doing. Turn it on, grab your controller, and off you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those kind of neat gimmicky things, I guess.
Right.
Because like when my mom came to town, my youngest sister, immediately she wanted to play the Kinect. So, it's kind of one of those things that impresses younger people.
Yeah, that's why they did it. So they didn't do it for the hardcore gamer. They did it for
that's exactly why they did
the Wii audience.
Well, all the advertising too was kids, for the Kinect. So I think what they're trying to sell, and I think the reason they focused on gestures and voice was because they're trying to kind of sell it to older people like us who, we're used to using an iPad and an iPhone all the time. So we're, kind of used to talking to it or swiping things on the screen and stuff. And I just don't know, like, I don't really think that translates to, for instance, if the Xbox is going to be an all-in-one media system, I don't think it translates to that.
Right.
But, like I said, I could be in the minority. I don't know.
Yeah. Moving on to the next thing that it felt like they talked about the whole time was the fact that you can watch television through it. And actually, it's funny because me and my wife just had this big thing about she didn't understand like why the TV in our living room doesn't have a guide and why it takes so long to change the channels and all this stuff. And I was trying to tell her that, the guide that she's used to is what comes from our cable box. And so just recently having this discussion with my wife made the live TV thing to me. I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool. And the way it was playing in one of the little tiles when you're back at the home screen and back and forth and stuff like that, not having to change inputs. I thought that was a cool idea, at least. I don't know that it's worth 45 minutes of an hour presentation about your new Xbox, though. It seemed a little too heavy on the TV.
And is it going to be universal for all cable providers? That was my other thing. Like,
well, how do you even get the cable? Do you have to have your cable box HDMI into the?
No, I bet what it is that you have to you probably hook up the coaxial cable to your Xbox and it acts as a.
I didn't see that though.
Cable box.
Did they have a coax on the back of the? I didn't see a coax.
I don't know. I was spitballing. To be honest with you, I don't know what they're going to do because if you're just funneling a cable box into the Xbox, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But one of our guys on Twitter was saying, "Oh, it might handle it like the Wii U handles it," but I don't know what that is. So
I wonder about that. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I don't know how else they would get it in there because now I'm thinking.
I think everything is HDMI ported because on the specs I didn't see anything about a coaxial.
Yeah, I didn't see that either. And
input. So I have a feeling
worried me a little bit.
it's still going to be coaxial to cable box, HDMI from cable box to your
And
your
one thing
Xbox.
they didn't talk about, which I think would be a super easy thing to implement, was recording television. Even though it looks like a VCR, maybe it
Right.
could be a VCR. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Just
the thing
in a
is
sense,
that
I thought that could be a cool implementation that they didn't really talk about.
that's the thing is they don't. I mean, cable companies don't want it to be a DVR at all.
No, because you
Right.
lose their
Yeah, I
advertising.
mean, yeah. Well, also too, they charge for DVR service usually.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Exactly. TiVo, $12 a month.
Hmm.
So I know that was kind of. It definitely seemed like when they started pushing the TV thing, I remember being like, okay, here we go. And then
Well, at least it worked for the Wii U.
Yeah.
exactly. Nobody's talking about that.
Within the first 30 minutes, I was like, okay, great. Where are the games? That's the whole thing. That's what I was saying the entire time for the first 30 minutes. It's like, where are the games? Like Sony came out right out of the bat. Boom. Like, here's this. They talked about the specs. They went right into their first game. And then all these developers come out and start talking games. And then Xbox is just talking. I know what they're going for. They're going for the family entertainment system of the future. I think that's the whole thing. And gaming is secondary. I think they're focusing more on the full experience of having all of your entertainment in one, hence Xbox One. That's it. I think the difference with the Sony one is it was all about the developers, which I think I appreciate a lot more. And I think developers appreciate a lot more. And it was all about the gamers and not necessarily the full media experience for everybody. So I don't know. I mean, it was interesting. Continue.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say it's, and then we had and I think you could feel it in the room because I almost tweeted out, I felt like they needed like an applause light because people were like, oh, okay, yeah, now we're clapping. Yeah, okay, let's clap about that. But like, man, how still was it in the room when that lady came on and talked about Halo, the television show, and then left? Like, I felt like that was a very awkward
that seemed a
part
little weird.
of the reveal because she kind of comes out and she's like, Halo, blah blah blah, the real television show, and I was like, oh, and then they threw kind of Steven Spielberg in there, and Steven Spielberg's going to be doing it, and he had a video of a live action Halo television show.
Yeah,
I don't know why this couldn't sound like a worse idea to me.
And as soon as they said it, I'm like, yeah, don't care. Won't be watching that probably.
Hall, what do you think? Would you watch a Halo television show that wasn't red versus blue?
If it were to come to other platforms, is it going to be exclusive or something?
I hope not. They need everybody to watch that if they want to make some money.
That would be hilarious if it came to like Blu-ray and digital video and you were watching it on your PS4. That would be hysterical.
They didn't say who they're partnering with for the series, which I thought was interesting. Is it going to be an actual TV channel like a Spike or a Sci-Fi, or is this going to be an online, strictly an online miniseries? What's it going to be? They didn't go into the details. They just said Halo, real life, show. Great.
Yeah,
cool.
Exactly.
I imagine after they're like it'll probably be a thing kind of like Showtime where it's exclusive to one source at first.
I think that'd be a mistake.
Well, this is what I think they'll do. They'll basically make it exclusive to watch on the Xbox 360 for the whole season, and then they'll release it on Blu-ray like a couple months after that. I bet.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, because they need to hit as many sources as possible, especially if they're working with Steven Spielberg.
Oh yeah,
like he's not gonna make it platform exclusive or anything like
right,
that.
Exactly.
I can't imagine.
Yeah. So. And then obviously we had the EA guy come out and talk about the games, showed a little montage of the FIFA, Madden, baseball. Was it basketball? Something like that.
I'm ready for sports games to go back to the core. Let's just have baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, rugby.
Football.
I don't know.
Rugby. Magic, the Gathering. So And I remember none of us really play sports games, so maybe that was a little lost on us. The racing games thing, racing games are at every new launch of a console to show off something. I don't know what it is.
Which I mean, it looked super awesome, and
Yeah.
that's the reason why. Like racing games just look great graphically. It works really well because you have that sleekness, the shadows, everything bouncing off, the reflections, and I think that's why they do racing games, is because it shows off all the capabilities of what your engine can do or what your operating system can do.
I love football, and they talked about their connection with NFL and how they're going to implement, fantasy football into that, and same thing with basketball and stuff like that. Had Roger Goodell, I think that's his name, the commissioner of NFL. That seemed cool, but I still don't know if that's a great selling point. It still seems like something that should be kind of like, oh, and also we've partnered with the NFL. Now back to some more games. But instead it was this, 10 minutes of you can watch football on this.
Right. And if you're a fantasy football person, I think that's awesome because you can get all your
but it's still just okay to me.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, I don't do fantasy football. I just like to watch some games and call it a day. I don't have to track everybody and get stats and blah, blah, blah. That's just me.
Yeah.
But, if you do play fantasy football, I think it could be something very, very cool because everything's in real time while you watch it. And, you have all of your information right there.
Yeah.
That being said, again, back to the games. Where are the games?
Yeah. Hall, you have anything to say about that? Cool.
Good. Great.
Yeah. And then I feel like the natural progression was they went back to talking about TV for a little bit, which is fine. They did throw up a graphic that said 15 new games, 8 of them being brand new IPs. That's exciting.
And that's when I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Like, I was honestly expected to sit there for at least 2 hours because the Sony one was about 2 hours. And I'm like, okay, we're finally getting into it. Let's show us some IP, get some new IPs. Let's see what's going on.
It didn't happen.
And it didn't happen.
They went back to TV.
Yep.
Which, I don't necessarily get it. But then, and this surprised me how I felt in my heart about this. I kind of got excited about that new Call of Duty.
Yeah, I did too.
I was totally, I was kind of arms folded. Oh, here we go. Number one, because I was a little sad that Microsoft was taking the time to make, to give to Call of Duty, because I'm like, y'all need to talk about y'all and y'all's games. Don't talk about this cross-platform game that everybody's going to have anyway.
Yeah, even the Wii U's probably going to get that. So.
Yeah,
exactly. If redheaded stepchildren are getting this game, we need not be talking about it.
Exactly.
Hall, did you get to see any of the stuff
I saw
when
the
it came
trailer.
to Ghost? What'd you think?
I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I know that you can tell that they're really trying to hook those people back in, like me and you, who are kind of like, meh, a little lost on the series.
Yeah.
So
new writer, the writer from Traffic.
Yeah,
that's pretty.
That's
cool.
pretty
really
freaking cool.
I'm excited because this is actually going to be like a story versus being thrown right in the middle of some city somewhere and then go. I love the fact that this is very much more story driven. And dude, we have dogs now, man. That's awesome. I mean, you had dogs in the past, but now you got like killer dogs.
Yeah, it looks like you're gonna have like a buddy. Yeah.
Yeah. Love that.
And it seems like there's a little bit more. Obviously, the name Ghost kind of tells you that it's going to be more stealthy on some parts. You're probably not going to have to run and gun every level, which is kind of cool. The premise is, we've seen it before. America's in disarray and we got to do something about it. That's not super creative.
Yeah, nothing original there.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Wait, wasn't that the last one?
Yeah.
But it is a new storyline, which is going to be cool. It looks incredible. I mean, this next gen of stuff. And remember that you have to kind of watch the growth of just the PlayStation 3, where the early games we thought at the time looked great. And then now they are pushing the machine to its max. You know what I mean? I'm totally expecting to get the yellow light of death during The Last of Us just because of all the stuff they're trying to cram in there.
Yeah.
My PlayStation be like, I can't do it, Captain. I'm giving her all she's got. But these first batch of games already on these next gen consoles look incredible.
Oh yeah, as they should.
Yeah, and I love the comparisons they did with Modern Warfare 3 and, in Call of Duty Ghosts. So I got a little bit more excited about that, I have to say. I kind of jumped back on the bandwagon with that one. I was like, crap, I'm going to be one of these kids out freaking buying Call of Duty day one, excited about the story. Everybody else is excited about multiplayer. I'm going to be the only one playing the campaign.
No, I like the fact that they actually focus on the story, too. And I'm sure they'll have great multiplayer. So, I mean, it's definitely one that I will probably, I've already thought, I think I'm going to get this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that'll be out for PS3 and Xbox 360. So,
Yeah.
and it'll probably blow your console up.
Yep. It'll start smoking.
And then they ended the conference with Call of Duty, and they kind of ended it the way I thought they would end it, with a pretty much to be continued. It started the countdown for the E3 press conference in June. So, I after I sat down, zoomed out, tried to look at the big picture, I was like, okay, this was called the Xbox reveal. And that's what they did. They revealed the Xbox. They didn't do too much more than that. They showed us a little bit. They gave us little glimpses of this, that, and the other, little tastes. It probably wasn't as fulfilling as people wanted it to be, but fear not. About 3 weeks from now, you will be getting your full. I think they're going to bring it to E3. They always have a good E3 presence, and I think their press conference will be awesome from there on out.
I think they should have. I think they made a mistake in not revealing at least a few new IPs, because you have the whole. You had, like yesterday, you had the whole world at your attention. At E3, everyone is going to be distracted with all these other press conferences.
That's a good point.
All these other developers. You had the world by the cojones yesterday, and you could have at least revealed maybe one of your more exciting ones, like. Gabe, remember when when they showed the gameplay for The Last of Us at the Sony press conference, how jacked up we were?
That was stupid. It was
Give us
awesome.
an IP like that with a little gameplay and something to that effect, so that come E3, we're going to be glued either to our online screens or to our screens or wherever. We're going to be glued to that press conference because we want to know more about that. But they had the whole world there, and all they talked about was TV and a typical Call of Duty, another game from Call of Duty.
Yeah, it was so crazy too. I remember the lady being like, and now you can find out what's trending on TV and find out what everybody else is watching. The Xbox will be the new water cooler. I was like, oh gosh, come on, lady.
Yeah. Boo.
I just thought that was so weird. Anyway,
yeah, it was a little odd.
You know what? The water cooler is the new water cooler as far as I'm concerned. So,
Hall, did you have anything before we dive into these questions?
Nope, let's do it.
Okay.
I did want to say too, though, we did get a blurry and some super close up of PS4.
Yes.
The new PS4 teaser came out, which I think they were probably like, hey, we should probably do something to show that we have a console.
The censored version of the PS4.
Yeah, and so if you haven't seen it, it's a very blurry shot from far away, and then as it's kind of zooming in, you get a bunch of really quick frames of the console really close up. So you can't really put it all together.
I'll post that on the website too, by the way.
At least we know they have it.
Yep.
And it seems like it's going to be black as well.
Yep. So, okay, really quickly, all in all, do you think Sony, who's more on top right now, or who has the better lead going into E3? Sony or Microsoft?
I think it's even, because really the consoles are the same, like spec-wise.
I think it's even too, but only because the Xbox is already so popular and it's the number one selling console in America.
Yeah.
So if the roles were switched, let's say this was switched and Xbox would have been a month ago and Sony was just coming out and they showed the console and said you could watch TV on it, people would be pissed And they'd be like,
Yeah.
see, Sony doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's
they
very
come out
true.
with this thing and they're talking about watching TV on it. They didn't even show us any games.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But because it's Microsoft and they're so beloved here in the West, and because they sell so much more than the PS3 than Sony does, I think that's what levels the playing field, because I think Sony's press conference was better.
Yeah. I mean, I think E3 will obviously be the decider, but I still think Sony has an edge just because of how much time people have had to talk about it. It's just been since February. We're now in May, and so they may have a little bit more of an edge. And the fact that they came out with guns blazing and saying we're here for developers, and we're here for games. So that might perk up the hardcore fan people, the hardcore gamers as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. E3 will be the Super Bowl for these two, and we'll see who shines.
Yeah. And Wii U will be the cheerleaders.
Exactly.
Considering they're not doing a press conference.
Considering they're not doing anything.
Hey, Hall, as you were reading it, because sometimes stuff can fly by, they're throwing so much information at you. Did you see anything about used games?
I actually read after the fact that you have to install all of the Xbox games, which isn't a big deal, but I guess when you install it, it locks it to your account.
Oh, okay.
But then I thought about it and I was like, well, what if you don't have a connected console? I think they're going into this generation thinking not a lot of people will, not have a connected console.
That everybody will have a connected console, pretty much.
Yeah, I think that this generation, though, I think they'll be pretty surprised. I can almost guarantee you that probably 25% of Xbox Ones will not be connected. So
yeah, the huge majority will be, for sure.
What I read basically was that I imagine that you could install the game and then it's locked to your Xbox account, and then you can delete it from your Xbox account when you're ready to sell it. Probably, because they want you to be able to play the games without the disc. But in order for you to be able to do that, you have to have some protection on there.
Sure.
To say, okay, I cannot give this disc to somebody else and let them install it as well for free.
So if you're not online,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
If I install it, I'm online, and I give it to you, you're not online. Yeah, not online. I wonder how they talk to each other then.
I don't know if that's possible. I don't know what they're thinking about doing.
At some point, you'd have to be connected. At some point, you have to be connected.
They can't force that, though.
Well, they should have just did it like the Xbox, where basically you install it, but you still have to have the disc. The disc is the best form of copy protection there is. It's the disc.
Right.
So.
Okay. Sorry, Router.
No, that's awesome.
I mean, I wish we could have delved more into that, because basically, if it's the other way where you lock it to an account and you can't unlock it from that account, then we're looking at something different for this generation as far as used sales are concerned.
And I think GameStop took a hit, I think, at their stock.
Yes, exactly. Because I don't know if people understood it understood it 100%.
Yeah,
and I think that Microsoft should have came out. I think Microsoft should have came out at the press conference and just said, "This is how the system
how it's going to work." Yeah.
Yep.
And then you saw Sony got a bump in their stock, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think people are just excited about games in general, so
which is good.
I think that's why people are getting bumps across the board.
Yep, that's the overall goal.
And you can't pay too much attention. We're making jokes, but you can't pay too much attention to stocks. They go up and down all the time at the changing of the wind. So
should have bought Sony yesterday.
They should have bought it 2 days ago.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
All right, go ahead, Router.
All right, let's get into some questions. Most of these are pretty short and sweet, but thank you everybody for coming in. We got 4 questions. One from our boy, Mr. Jordan Thompson.
Oh, boom, Facebook. Headshot.
Boom. He said, based on first impressions of Xbox One, will it be a yay or nay for you? And Xbox One or PS4? I think it's still too early to tell, yay or nay. Like we've said before, it takes a little bit to switch to a different console.
Yeah.
From Sony, you have all your trophies, you have all your account information, and the same thing with Xbox. So it's like you have to be super excited and willing to make that step in order to actually make that switch over. And so far, I'm totally fine with where I'm at. So, and like I said, I may not purchase any of these next gen for a while just because I want to see all the bugs getting worked out. And that's just kind of my rule of thumb.
Yeah, we really need to wait and kind of see where these consoles are going to be, let's say 6 months after release, maybe even a year after release before anybody's really making conscious decisions on it. I mean, like, I think about it and I'm like, well, yeah, I'd like to buy one this year, but to be honest with you, it's like everything's still coming out for the PS3 and the 360, so why would I need to get this new console?
I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to buy a new console only because I think I'm putting one on layaway. When they announce the dates, I think I'm going to start paying them off at GameStop.
Who does? Oh, I was going to say, who does layaway? GameStop, I guess.
Yeah, it's not really layaway, but it's like the pre-order, and you can just go and put more money on it each month.
That's great.
I think my thing is probably in between. It's not neither yay or nay. It's like yeah,
yeah.
Somewhere in there, because I feel like they could turn a corner at E3 and everybody be like, "Oh snap, that's what I'm talking about."
Yes. Agreed.
But we'll see. But I've been a Sony guy for a long time, and like Router's saying, that's hard to kind of switch up on.
Yep. John Fuller, Facebook
John?
question. The Xbox One hardware is great and pretty interesting, but what do you guys think about the fact that there's going to be 8 brand new IPs coming from Microsoft? That is what I wanted to hear the whole time.
Yeah,
I think, hey, we know half of your exclusive already. You've got your Halos, you've got your Gears of War, blah, blah, blah. I want to know about these 8 new IPs. And like I said before, at least give us one. Give us something that will carry us over into E3 so that we'll be super excited. But I think they're just going to dump everything at E3 and we'll find out. So I'm excited and I'm very curious what they're going to bring.
I think that's what it's about. That's what it's about. It's about 8 new IPs. I think that's what keeps you afloat. That's where Nintendo falters every time.
Amen.
I'm excited about that unless they come out and say, we've got 4 new IPs for Connect.
Oh.
Like, no.
Yeah, that could be brutal. That really could be brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's going to be at least, I bet at least one of those new IPs is Connect.
Sure.
Yeah,
it has to be. Yeah, it has to be. I mean, they're bundling it with the freaking hardware. But that's what it's about. It's about games. At the end of the day, it's about freaking games. So make these 8 IPs great, and you'll have everybody crowning you the victor.
Yep.
Next question.
Short and sweet one from James Hardwick at Hardwick Family. How awesome will your fantasy football team be with Xbox One?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really great. If you do it, I think it will definitely enhance your fantasy football experience.
I think I'll still find a way to lose.
Yeah.
Regardless of if I have help from Microsoft or not.
I think I'll still find a way to not play at all. So
there you go. Done. Last question from our boy Casey at O'Neill 15299. Do you think Xbox has lost touch with the core gamer? They seem to be moving in a very general direction, not focused on gaming. Based on yesterday, maybe. Because they didn't talk a whole lot about games. They talked about the overall experience, and maybe that's the demographic that they're going for now. It's like, yeah, we've got our hardcore gamers, but we're out for the American family now, for the entire media experience. I think they're thinking more big picture here. The problem is that you're still a gaming console. That's where you started. You cannot forget that audience because they will crush you if that's the case. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see.
It's always hard to see whether lose touch and bad ideas, kind of where those intertwine, because there's a lot of companies that make weird decisions in the boardroom.
Yes.
And give it to the public. And so, but it's all in, to me, when you're a big company, it's all in how you deal with bad choices, because you're not gonna bat 1,000. You know what I mean? So if you're out of touch, you have to quickly change stream. You know what I'm saying? And so it's really how well is Microsoft built to change an idea or change a direction they're going, because I think that's what keeps people alive.
Yep.
If that makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense.
It's funny. It's I watched this interview with one of the writers from Lost. I know that's a throwback, but I was just having a moment, and I was like, man, I need to go watch something about Lost because I used to love that show so much. And one of the things the writer was saying, I think his name's Damien. He was saying that the audience has two questions for you. It's, do you guys have a plan? Because we want to know that you guys have a plan and you know where you're taking us. And two, are you listening to what we want? And he said it's such a catch-22 because they're opposite questions. If you want us to take you on a journey, let us take you on a journey. If you want us to listen to you, then that means we have to kind of make stuff up as we go and appease what you want. Yeah. And he said it's walking that tightrope that is really a hard thing to do. And I think that that's what both Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo need to be able to do. They need to have a plan, but be able to deviate from it to give up,
they need to be adaptable
to their consumers. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for your questions, guys.
Yeah, it was awesome.
We appreciate it. You guys ready to get up out of here?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Well, you know who we are, and we want to know who you are. So keep tweeting us, like us on Facebook, rate us on iTunes. Let us know how you think we're doing. We're here for y'all. We love talking about this stuff. We love it. That's why we do it. So we really appreciate you guys listening. Thank you, Tim and Tim, for being here early in the morning. Married to the marriedtothegames.com, facebook.com/marriedtothegames, twitter.com/mttgcast. We are so sorry to our Stitcher users. We do not know what happened with the episode from last week, but it's on youtube.com/marriedtothegames. All of our episodes are up there. So if you didn't get to hear all the interview with Kai Wilhelmsen last week, we have it up on YouTube. So go check it out and you can catch the rest of that episode. Sorry, we don't know what happens. We don't run Stitcher.
I emailed Stitcher and I got no reply. So
nice.
There you have it. Stitcher 0, iTunes 1. So yeah, keep listening. We're going to be here every week, baby. We're going to keep talking about this thing. We love it. New consoles are coming out. New games are coming out. We live in exciting times. We're married to the games and we about this thing. Peace.